weekly YouTube Fast Track Money live session. Today, as usual, my co-host is Matthias Richter, the creator behind Financial Imagineer. And we have a special guest, Chris from Earn2Trade. And before I let him to introduce himself, and if this is your first time coming here, so I'm Yasi, creator behind Fast Track. So we're a podcast and we talk about anything related to money, entrepreneurship, and career. And Matthias Richter is my usual co-host. He has a blog called Financial Imagineer, sharing his personal experiences, how he achieved financial independence, also his insights from his job as a banker, and to help you imagineer your life financially. And today with us is Chris. He is the creator behind Twitter account Earn2Trade. And I will give the stage to him, let him talk about a little bit more about what he's doing and then how he's related to this today's topic, trade.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I appreciate you guys, having me here as well, guys and gals, of course. I am an educator and as well as a funded prop trader over at Earn2Trade. I've been trading for approximately, at this point, we're looking closer to 14 years. But realistically, I like to say more like 10 because those first 4 years were not so good for me. But ultimately got to where I was wanting to be or what my initial goals were. And a big part of my journey, I found a lot of what I enjoyed about trading was working with other people and helping things that made sense to me click with other people. I found that a lot more gratifying than just the financial reward itself, because naturally that's going to come as part of the process. But to really compound upon that, if I'm able to impart some knowledge on someone or clarify a topic or get something to click, that to me is that's my forte. That's something I enjoy. So got involved with Earn2Trade, been with Earn2Trade since the very beginning. And my role really at Earn2Trade is to help our aspiring traders gain the knowledge that they need to be able to pass our tests. And our tests exist to help traders that feel they have the skills but not the finances to succeed in the trading world. Our test allows them to be connected with a funded prop firm, which means, in short, if you're good enough, you pass the test, you actually have those skills you think you have, then you get to go and be in the land of wonder and gain one of those funded trading accounts, which is probably quite a lot larger than you might have access to. Or even if you do have access to it, we have a lot of traders that come to us because they like the concept of trading with someone else's money. I mean, who wouldn't, as long as anyway. But anyway, yes, so thank you for having me.
But do they also feel the pressure of losing someone else's money?
Absolutely. That's an excellent point. And yes, some people do. So a funded account is not for everyone, but it can be for anyone as well at the same time. If you're one of the individuals that is more stressed out about trading with someone else's money than your own, then it may not be something for you. But I would venture to say, and this is just off of my own experience and the people that I encounter, more people actually feel comfortable knowing that it's not their sack of cash at risk, which gives the best analogy that I could provide with that is when you have somebody beginning in their trading career, it's really common for people to begin on a demo account or a sim account where they're trading with fake money. And they are trading real market activities, but they're not trading with their money. And it's really common that traders will start doing well relatively quickly with the sim account, but then when they gain that confidence and they finally switch over to a live account, all of a sudden all hell breaks loose and they just don't perform the same. And one of the reasons behind that is due to the stresses of knowing that if they don't kill something, they don't eat tonight, proverbially speaking, obviously. So by trading with someone else's money, it does alleviate the most common pressure that people feel, which is knowing that it's their livelihood at risk. So there's a lot of benefits. Obviously, it's not, once again, for everybody, but I feel the majority of people out there, it's a very cool tool, and it's something that I wish was around when I first got started. I think it would have helped me a lot because I am one of those individuals that struggled more when I switched over to the live account, and I had to actually take the baby steps because initially I started too heavy and I wasn't even aware in the beginning of my trading career that that was even a thing. I thought if I could detach from $5, why can't I detach from $500? And it just became this slow learning process for me. And as it is, for most of us, trading is definitely not a sprinter's game. It's a long-term game. And as they say, you don't aim to be a bull trader, you aim to be an old trader. And, that's one of the processes, that I feel helps the majority of people, at least help me. So,
and most of the people are they learning to trade? Are they learning to trade as a side thing, or they want to switch career to become a full-time trader?
that's a great question as well. So most individuals that I've encountered, so I can only speak on my own experiences, I won't speak on anyone else's, but most people I encounter have the aspiration of ultimately switching to a full-time trading position, whether that means being a funded trader or just being profitable as a trader in general to the point where they're trading with their own money and don't need anyone else. Most individuals do have those aspirations that I've encountered once again. However, I have also encountered a small portion of people. If I were to just throw some arbitrary statistics out there, I would say like 95%, 90 to 95% of people that I talk to do say that if it was possible for them to be a full-time profitable trader, they would go that route. They would quit, maybe they're working at the landfill throwing garbage. Maybe they're a carpenter, maybe they're a construction worker. Most of them would rather have the ability to trade from home and be around their, I would say their significant other, but in today's day and age, I think most of us would rather be around our dog. That's just a joke, guys. But anyway, I think most people like the idea of having that freedom of not being location based, and that's a very appealing thing, especially in the world post COVID. We're in a time right now that's kind of unprecedented, where it's so much has changed in a year time, and it's crazy because a lot of people don't realize when you talk to them that this kind of stuff has been going on for over a year now. It's been that long. It feels like we just started this madness recently, but at the same time, we've been involved with it so long that it's normal to go outside and see people with masks on. It's normal to humans adapt quickly. But one of the appeals to the crazy times that we're in is not worrying about being around a large number of people as well. So by becoming a trader, it's very appealing to most people because now their health is arguably improved because their risk factor as far as contracting these insane diseases that are ravaging the globe, they're no longer there. They're unless they're once again getting it from their significant other or the dog. Yeah.
Maybe for the audience, many of them might not have a clear understanding of what is trading and what is investing. And to most of people, when they think about investing, they think about trading. You have to analyze the market, you have to buy and sell, you have to spend a lot of time on it. So can you explain to us what does a trader do? Someone is trading, and what would be the usual exercise they are doing?
So just to clarify and make sure I'm answering correctly, we're talking about the differences between trading versus investing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the short answer to that question is just your time investment, your time and position. That's really the short answer. So the short answer is when you're investing, generally that means like you're looking to be involved with, maybe an IRA, or you're looking to do something where you're grabbing a basket of things that you expect to have low volatility but long-term growth, and you're not really looking to pay attention to it every single morning. You just kind of set it and forget it. Whereas the concept of trading is looking to take advantage of really price discrepancies or market movements in the short term, whether that short term be say a matter of minutes to maybe a matter of days. And as you become a trader, you'll learn that there's you've got day trading, you've got position trading, there's all kinds of different not assets, but there's all kinds of different categories that even trading kind of gets subcategorized into. But the main division between all of those, as well as the difference between trading and investing, is just the amount of time investment. But at the end of the day, the concept is the same. You're looking to spend a certain amount of money or invest a certain amount of money. You're looking to put a certain amount of money into the machine and get more money out of the machine. So that core concept is exactly the same. Yeah.
Straightforward. Yeah.
Mhm.
And to
Very
Matthias,
well said.
since you are not a banker, you are a wealth manager, and you do investing for your
Yeah.
clients. How would you
Mhm.
explain what you do, or what is investing in your point of view?
Investing for me is putting your capital at the side, right? Investing is in a way like when you transfer human capital into financial capital. As life passes by, your human capital is kind of depreciating over time, and you want to make sure you pump up your financial capital in time that at one point in time it can take over for you, right? So, and therefore, putting up that stuff and putting money to work for you, that's investing. And now I think trading for me, for my understanding, so maybe that's where why Chris is here today, right? To have a talk about this. Trading is more, yes, you see discrepancies, you see opportunities, you take advantage of situations. If like yesterday, 2 days ago, China had some news coming out. The stock market took a hit. Nasdaq got impacted, right? Then you see, so what is mispriced now? Why did it happen? Is it justified? It's a fear and greed, emotions. It's a and trading can be in so many things, right? So it's a very, very broad field, highly interesting field. And if you do it right, it can be super lucrative. But you have to figure out, are you made for it, right? So it's maybe investing, if you follow some rules and you stick to it, it could be simple and more passive. And trading, if you do it right, it could be also highly rewarding. But there, the thing is, usually the example goes like the portfolio manager versus the dart throwing monkeys, right? Why not give the money to the monkeys as they outperform the others? So there's not so many people who have it in them, right? And then maybe Chris's setup is something that probably can help people to see if they are made for it, and so on, right, Chris? Or
No, you're absolutely correct, and I think you worded that, you elocuted that beautifully, where you kind of hit the nail on the head with the concept of investing is more so passive.
mm,
The concept is to, like you said, have your money do the work for you if you've done it correctly,
yeah,
naturally. And whereas trading is definitely more active, so that is really a defining difference too that you kind of draw. You pulled out that I like. But ultimately, yes, there is risk involved in either. If you invest incorrectly, you're going to lose money. If you trade
mm,
incorrectly, you're going to lose money. And statistically speaking, in both areas, the one of the common grounds that you'll find is that most people are not very good at either one of them. But
yes,
something I like to, address with that so it doesn't scare people as much is the fact that just because, say, everyone hears the statistics, at least in my world they do, that 90+% of traders are not profitable. That's a
mm,
scary statistic. Now,
yeah,
do I think it's true? Yeah, probably. But the thing is, it's tilted because
mm,
90% of traders, those 90% that are not doing well, do you think that those 90% of traders are adhering to basic, sound, fundamental trading strategy? The majority of traders are people that,
yeah,
because it is a short-term game, I think this is probably more prevalent, and you can add in on this one, Matt. But I think because trading is that short-term gain, I think that it does allure a crowd of people that don't have the patience to wait the
mm,
long term, and as such, it kind of biases the statistics. And
correct.
the thing I like to tell people is that just because you hear that 90% fails, or 90% may not be, profitable by whatever means that is, that does not mean that there's a 90% chance that you can't do it. They're two
Correct.
completely
Correct.
different things. It's, don't look at the results of the masses when it includes things that you probably wouldn't even consider doing. Even, if you're listening to this stream, you're already doing something that 90% of traders probably aren't doing. So don't be deterred is the one thing that I want people to kind of take away, because I do see a lot of people get scared when they see, oh man, 90% of people are failing. That doesn't necessarily, this isn't, it's not the Navy SEALs. We're not talking about a 90% dropout rate of studs that are going into the machine and failing when they come out the other side. We're talking about 90% of the entire masses.
Mm,
Just think about, 90% of the people, we'll
So
just leave it
let's
at that.
talk
correct. Yeah.
about this 90% of traders who are not profitable. What are the common mistakes they're making?
One of the most common mistakes that we see traders make is continuously changing a strategy instead of building upon it and changing one aspect at a time in a logical solution solving mindset, or without using that logical solution solving mindset. They will basically continuously change the foundation of what they're building upon and then wonder why they never built a structure. Why did they never finish building the house? Because they kept changing the groundwork. They kept changing the core principles. Every single time something works, they throw the entire thing out and go to something completely different. And that is just it's really kind of crazy. It is,
for young people who want to get into trading, it's so easy to get lost, right? So you can do options, you can do FX, you can do commodities, gold, Bitcoin, cryptos, you can do shares, and it's so wide, right? And like you said, I think emotional things play a huge role, discipline, self-control, and all that. And that's the very same thing that defines a good investor from a bad one, right? So they're exactly the same qualities apply. And if you just you have to try and improve on it, right? And if you, like you said, you fail once, you throw the whole thing away. You haven't learned. You just skip randomly, and that's a recipe to fail ultimately.
Exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. Said beautifully.
So how may I ask one question, Chris? So how did you become a trader? What is your background? Why did you come to trading, and how did you become when was the moment maybe you figured out, yes, I'm a trader?
Absolutely. So my story actually began a little bit odd, which I like to share just because I think it gives hope to the common man. I actually began in a background with the government. I actually began in a background with law enforcement. So my initial aspirations when I was a kid were to, become a law enforcement officer, to do some things along those lines, or, actually do something in the military, for example. And I did go that route. I did walk that line, but along the path, I very quickly kind of felt the claustrophobia, really, of the feeling like, when I wanted to go on vacation, I needed to put my time in, I needed it to get approved, I needed to do this. And I realized that there was a lot of the world that I still hadn't seen. I'm a product of the US machine where we're told that everyone wants to tell you it's the greatest country in the world, and it's like, whether that's true or not, I didn't care. I didn't have that ego. I wanted to see the other countries. I wanted to see how other people were doing it, and the career path that I had set forward for myself wasn't really conducive to that being possible, aside from short stints of a week vacation here and there where I quickly bounce over somewhere maybe once a year. I didn't like that, and actually, I maybe hit a little closer to home to you, Matt. Actually, when I first got involved in trading, I did it under an apprentice. I had a friend of mine, went to school, and was part of a trading team. At the time, it was all under Forex, and I just he took me under his wing and basically gave me the rope. So I had a big advantage in that regard for someone that hadn't initially gone to school for it, which I did end up obviously going, further progressing that, but we're not going to go down that street later on. But it allowed me to embark on this journey, which I was immediately, I'm trying to think of how I want to word this. I was immediately intrigued in a way that the various other journeys I had kind of gone through in my life hadn't really sparked as much of a fire. This one was something that I saw so many more possibilities. Was it difficult? Absolutely. But the potential was there. And after kind of operating and being under his wing, it wasn't long before I actually got the chance I actually moved to Sweden for a bit. And that was I remember being in Sweden and thinking, this is something I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to find the end of this, because if this is possible, if I can be in Sweden and be working, because all I need is internet access to be able to trade, to be able to communicate, to be able to do everything that we're doing right now. I mean, for me, that was a huge win. So I started going, to sum it up so I don't keep blabbing too much. Essentially, I was taken under the wing of someone else, and then I continued to progress my knowledge in the area in a more official manner. I collected my series examinations, quite a large number of them, like the Series 34, my Series 7, for example, just a large number of the series exams. I still got them stuck to the fridge because of how much I hated taking those damn tests. But anyway, so I continuously push down the path that I preach, and while doing the education helped, and you might be able to kind of chime in on this one as well, Matt. While the education helped, what really gave me the most value for my time was getting out there and doing it. Trial and error, having the desire to do something, understanding that it's okay if I fall on my face, as long as I do it in a controlled manner, as long as I understand the importance of risk management, as long as I, make sure I'm not risking things that I can't afford to lose. I'm progressively working through the machine in a systematic way. And I continuously did that until things, it was like success at that point. And by my definition, success was becoming beyond the 51% mark, so to speak, tilting the seesaw the other way, being profitable with the money I was putting in the machine was actually more was coming out. Getting to that point was, that was the one goal I had. And because I was continuously looking to achieve that one way or another, whether it was scouring the internet or doing education outside, it was only a matter of time. And while I continued down that path, I became in contact with a large number of other traders in the world and the community through various financial forums, and I quickly realized that it wasn't just trading that I liked, but it was also kind of sharing my journey with other people and watching them succeed. That was almost more fulfilling, almost like in a, without getting too altruistic here, it was almost like I felt like being a parent and watching your child grow up and succeed. It felt more rewarding to me on maybe more of a spiritual level. And it felt like the next goal, once I had gotten over the 51% mark, it felt like the next goal was how many people can I also get over that mark? So that's really, so that kind of really progressed me down to where I ended up with Earn2Trade, which is probably the most education influenced and transparency influenced testing facility that I'm aware of. And just, biased or not, that's just the stone cold truth. And I'm glad to be a part of the team.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen some of your videos before on Twitter. So I like, you also go, how often do you have videos, or what kind of
all
information do you share? Maybe let our audience know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So at Earn2Trade, what we do, or what Earn2Trade offers, and is it's a location of both information, guidance, as well as a portal to get to where you want to go if you're looking to become a funded trader. That's the core of what it is. If you're looking to become a better trader, it's a good location to go to, because we have a plethora of information. Like Matt said, he saw, some videos of me. I'm constantly putting out educational content on various subjects. It could be indicators, it could be a strategy, it could be just various things, just trying to clarify and illuminate different things. And I try to do it in a very unbiased way. So if you like education, you like content, and obviously we have some videos that are animated as well if you don't like seeing my ugly mug. But, as far as that goes, I try to pass the information along and allow people to do with it what they will, because ultimately what works for me isn't something that necessarily is going to make sense for example, Matt. I'm not great when it comes to high level math. It's not my strong suit. Matt might be excellent at that. And for that reason, there might be certain, or for that, along that same line, there might be certain strategies that make more sense to his brain, and he interprets the information that he's, pulling from the screen in a manner that would be more conducive to working well with this type of strategy, whereas I might be better working with another. So I try to be very careful when I'm providing, this information, that I'm doing it in a way that's really unbiased. And Earn2Trade is a great location of that. We provide the information, we give it to you, and we let you make your own opinion. We let you make your own decision on what you feel you want to pursue. And there's a lot of that. So the education is there. And then also I get to work with the traders on a one-on-one basis. We have mentoring, where traders literally have weekly meetings with me, and I will analyze exactly what they're doing, talk about things where they can potentially improve, and every aspect that you might think is involved in coaching. That's another thing that we provide. But obviously the biggest thing that Earn2Trade provides is a portal. It's a doorway to get that big, fat sack of cash if you are one of the individuals that thinks you have the skills, and you either don't want to use your finances or you don't have the finances. So it's very much so. Go ahead.
How long does it take for someone as a beginner, know nothing, to learn and to become a, let's say, confident trader?
So that's a loaded question because everybody obviously comes from a completely different skill point. Everybody comes from a completely different skill point or a baseline. When I'm working with somebody that has absolutely no experience, there might be an expectation that that individual might not, be where they. So it's a loaded question because everyone's goals are different too. So I don't really actually know how to answer that one. Ultimately, what I like to see is a massive improvement in 6 to 8 weeks. That's what I like to see. Now, what that massive improvement is or where that finish line is going to change depending on what the trader came in with to begin with. So what we really aim to do is take somebody from point A to point B, even though those A's and B's might be completely different locations for every single individual person, in that 6 to 12 week window span, and that's generally what we achieve. It's or at the very least, for those that decide that trading's not for them, I feel that that's a success as well, because we give traders the opportunity to feel exactly what the pressures will be of trading with a live account. If they come to us with no experience, we let them know, like, hey, this is real life. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Trading is definitely stressful at times. Is it rewarding? Sure, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and we provide a way for them to experience that in a much more cost effective way than paying a gigantic or exorbitant learning tax, as I like to call it, when just kind of proceeding through it on your own, kind of like how I did. But once again, I even had a mentor, so I was blessed in that regard. But I still did pay a heavy learning tax, stumbling and messing around on my own. So really, our goal is to improve somebody as much as humanly possible in 6 weeks or more. That's really where we're try to get them to whatever their goal is,
Also,
and everybody's goal is different.
So it's incremental learning. Like they will become better. Like today will be better than yesterday. Like that.
That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. What can we improve upon tomorrow that allows us to either not make mistakes that we were making again, or to allow us to pursue potentially a more profitable route than perhaps we were already, where we were already at. It's just one step at a time, systematically adjusting and fine tuning the machine to get the maximum potential out the other end.
I'm not a trader, so on behalf of all the non-trader audience, we are curious, how is the day like as a trader?
Well, you start your day with coffee, hopefully. But beyond that, it really comes down to the first thing that I like to do is I like to check on my higher time frame. I call them key levels. So basically, without getting too deep into the technical stuff, I like to, at the beginning of each and every week, I like to mark off various price levels through technical analysis that means something to me that I want to make sure I'm aware of. That if I approach those in an individual trading day, like I approach a weekly or a monthly level, that I am prepared or can respond accordingly. So the day generally begins the cup of coffee, reviewing those levels, seeing if I need to adjust any of them. Did we pass through any of them? Just adjusting and fine tuning those levels that I did at the beginning of the week, generally speaking. Then the next thing is pay attention to the news. Take a look at the news, and that can be something like Forex Factory or whatever news site you so choose to use, to allow yourself to be aware of the different releases that are going to be coming out throughout the day. And being aware of those releases is extremely important, because various releases have various levels of impact in the market. And as a trader, like we kind of segregated in the beginning between a trader and an investor, we are much shorter term than what you would generally think of as an investor, which means we're much more susceptible to volatility that gets caused in the market by a variety of factors. It could be an act of God, but one thing that we can control, you can't go and open up a page and say, hey, there's going to be a hurricane exactly at this time. We know exactly when, or maybe we're getting close with technology, but what we can see is when the CPI is going to come out, when the non-farm payroll is going to be released. We can pay attention to those things, which means we can trade accordingly or not trade accordingly around them. And if we don't have a strategy that incorporates what's going to happen, then we can just simply dodge that block. So I check my levels. I drink my coffee. I start setting alarms on my phone for when those releases are going to happen throughout the day, so I don't forget. And then beyond that, it's really just executing your trading plan. And your trading plan is nothing more than a written amount of rules. It's a roadmap that you set forward for yourself of what needs to be present in order for you to buy and what needs to be present in order for you to sell, as well as, you know, your maximum risk allotment, you know, all the various things that you put down on paper. That way you have to hold yourself accountable to it. You have to adhere to the trading plan. And when you adhere to the trading plan, you now have something that has been done systematically, which means you can then begin improving that by taking away areas that you find are a leak, or improving because you think you might have a spot where you can increase your equity here or what have you. So beyond that, it's just the execution process. And then the next day, rinse and repeat. Check what you've done, check your pre-existing homework, check the news, be prepared for the news, and execute that trading plan.
And is the trading plan changing day by day, or is the same trading plan for like a week? Or what's the...
So for me, no. Yeah, no, for me, generally no. I should say generally no, because trading is a dynamic game. The markets are always changing. The rules of engagement are literally always changing. You might have something that works wonderfully for, you know, the last year and a half, and all of a sudden you realize it just does not apply to today's rule sets. So, but generally speaking, you know, where I'm at, all the strategies that I like to use, they've been pretty solid for quite a while, as far as, you know, once again, my plan. So it doesn't get modified too much, but there are slight tweaks that I will do depending on if we're in a bullish market, a bearish market, or, you know, if we're range bound, for example, things like that. But for the most part, for me, it stays the same. Now, if you are a trader that is trying to build and find your own way, your trading plan is probably going to be changing quite regularly. Now, changing it too much, like we talked about, is a bad thing. So I still don't want to see a trading plan change every single day, but an adjustment each and every week, that's very possible for somebody that's still finding their way, because they need to accumulate that data, and it needs to be a respectable amount of data before they start enacting changes based on that data. Because trading, unfortunately, has what we call variance in it, and variance is just the expected degree of, you know, craziness that is just out there in the ether that will cause us to win or lose without any other, you know, known tangibles behind it. So it's important to have a large sample size before we adjust that trading plan too quickly, to make sure that we're not adjusting something based on something that's variance and not a statistical probability.
Interesting. And you explained it very well. Even though I'm not a trader, I learned a lot.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And apart from your trading activities, do you do some investing activities?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I kind of partake in all areas of trading and investing. Really, I started, like I said, in the forex world, but I've since I can't talk this morning. I've since moved to futures. Obviously, because that's a big portion of what we focus on at Earn2Trade. And there's also benefits to trading futures. Once again, don't want to go too deep into all of that stuff, but things like being aware of an actual centralized exchange, so you're aware of order books and, you know, depth of market, things like that. But I do think that it's an intelligent decision to prepare for also the long term as well, and perhaps, you know, maybe a year from now or 2 years from now, maybe trading isn't possible for whatever reason. Maybe the SEC comes out and says you can't trade unless you have, you know, Jeff Bezos's rocket ship in your backyard or something weird like that. I want to be prepared, you know. So I think it's important to be involved and spread out and diversified pretty much in every area of life. And that's for any job. It doesn't matter if you're the mayor of a city. It's possible that, you know, who knows? You know, you get the idea. Yeah.
That was the risk. So Anthony is asking, is Chris a day trader?
Yes. Yeah. So that goes back to the segregation of timing that we talked about. And by definition, yes, I'm a day trader. Generally speaking, my positions are open and closed within a single day.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience? Let's see if there are some other questions. Matt, do you have any questions for Chris?
I also thought we are at the point we can ask the audience. So anything from you guys, if you want to hear Chris's reply, what would you ask Chris? Now's your chance.
I have a question. Chris, do you plan to retire anytime soon?
Do I plan to? I'm sorry that my mic cut off, or my headset cut off. Do I plan to what anytime soon?
Yeah, do you have early retirement planning?
Early retirement planning. Ah, this is. I guess it depends on how you define early retirement planning. Do I have plans? Yes. Are they what I would, if I was in Matt's position, would I say it's the safest route? Perhaps not. Perhaps it's not the most the most logical or regular route, perhaps. But yes, like I said, I like to be prepared in all areas. But it's a I am someone that's probably a little bit more comfortable with risk, which is why I, align with shorter term trading versus longer term investing more so than perhaps say Matt. Matt likes to keep it smooth, calculated, aligned, and have that long term steady growth. So more of my eggs are probably in the shorter to midterm baskets than Matt would probably like. But yes, I have
We have a
plans.
question here from Cheyenne.
Yeah.
She's asking, are you single, Chris?
Oh man, we'll have to. Thank you, Cheyenne. I appreciate that. You're gonna make me blush now. Oh man, yeah, I am not married yet.
Not married yet. Cheyenne, okay, maybe later this show we will ask where can our audience find Chris?
His Twitter is in the description in this.
Yes, on YouTube, it's already there. Please scroll down, Cheyenne. You will find Chris's details. Follow him on Twitter.
Oh man, jeez. I appreciate that, Cheyenne. Though, thank you. You gave me a good laugh. Thank you.
And Tony
Oh, look, she's got a little picture here too.
Yeah.
She's not doing so bad herself.
Yes.
Is this a matchmaking session? What do we got going on here?
Yes, financial literacy is very attractive, she says. I agree, 100%.
That's how Matt gets them all. He walks in the club and says, "I am the financial Imagineer," and they just flock to him. It's over.
Tony asked a question. He asked, do you believe anyone can be successful in day trading? I think we have covered that partially before in this show, but maybe you can quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So basically, short answer, guys, anyone has the ability to be successful, but trading is not for everyone. If you have the ability to do what needs to be done, then you can be successful. If you don't have the self-control, if you don't have the discipline to adhere to a trading plan and do those things, then chances are it's not for you.
All right. The Rainmaker is asking, do you trade or invest in cryptocurrencies?
Oh boy. So I've been avidly against the volatility that is involved with cryptocurrency for the concept of day trading for a very long time. I think it's incredibly hard to predict in any type of scalping fashion, and with how volatile it is. As soon as one country goes ahead, like China goes ahead and says, hey, we're not going to accept this anymore, just we see something go from 65,000 a coin to 30,000 a coin. But with that being said, I do own some crypto that I think is just part of my diversification basket. This is how this is what I tell myself at night, to tell myself I'm not a degenerate. I have a bunch of, once again, guys, not saying that anyone is. I have friends that are in the crypto world that make me feel like I'm in the wrong career field. But I do hold crypto specifically as basically just my rainy day fund. It's nothing I allocate a large portion of my portfolio. For me, that's somewhere in the wheelhouse, no more than say 3% or so would I ever allocate to that stuff. At the moment, 3 to 5% is enough for me. That's that's plenty.
So you're mostly in stocks, I would suppose, or?
Yes, correct. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Mostly. Yep. Exactly. stocks, indices, yes, yeah,
I think
baskets, etc.
for traders, that there's traders in each and every field. Like I said before, I know people that focus solely on FX, and I think it's also something you have to figure out yourself what your strength is in a way if you're eager to join that field, right? We have another question from Cesar AMG. Any advice how to be consistent?
Any advice on how to be consistent? The easiest
control, discipline, and so self-discipline.
Exactly. I'd say the best bang for your buck answer is actually write out rules of engagement, actually write out the trading plan like I discussed, and stick to that. If you stick to that, that is by far and away, at least in my experience with people I've worked with, by far and away the best bang for your buck route to improving consistency and actually getting some type of tangible improvement.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question. Why should we start the Gauntlet Mini? What is the Gauntlet Mini? Maybe have a chance to explain Gauntlet Mini. And
yeah, that's a great question. It brings it back to my homeschool, right? So the Gauntlet Mini is a program that we offer at Earn2Trade. So remember, guys, Earn2Trade is a facility where you can gain the education as well as the test. You have a test that you can pass to receive funding if you pass the test. That's quite literally it in a really simplistic nutshell. So the Gauntlet Mini is our test that pertains to E-mini futures. So it's a test that if you pass it, will provide funding for you to trade E-mini futures. And as far as passing the Gauntlet Mini, the most important thing that I think is probably worth being aware of is the rules. Be aware of the rules, which there's like 4 or 5 of them, give or take. Just be aware of what they are and stay within those. Keep them on your screen if you need to when you're trading. They're not that complicated. It's simple things like being aware of what your max daily drawdown is or your end of day drawdown is, for example. Just simple things like that. They actually cause people to fail at a rate that is just like, and those are just so simple. Like, just be aware of where your drawdown line lies. How much can you stand to lose today? That's probably the number one thing that I see people failing. Not even poor trading, but more so the fact that they don't realize that, for example, the drawdown has a trailing aspect to it or something along those lines, and they allow their account to fall too far and they're out even though that they thought they were trading accordingly. Remember, when you pass a test and someone's giving you money, of course, there's going to be risk mitigation rules that they're going to want imposed in order to protect their money as well. It's a pretty sweet deal because the money that you get if you do pass the test and you get connected with a prop firm, which everyone that passed the test does, it's an 80-20 split, which is really heavy. You get 80% of the profits you're making with potentially, $150,000 account. So it works really well in your favor. But of course, there's going to be, maximum loss limits because they don't want you to blow the $150,000 account. We don't want to see people that are playing the lottery card game that are coming to, pass the test by achieving the target profit number by doing it all in one day, for example. Take it slow and steady, chip away at the block. And chances are, if you can't pass it by just chipping away at the block and you need to have one gigantic position in order to pass, we're probably saving you money in the long run anyway by making it a hard reality that you're not necessarily prepared to be trading with live finances to begin with. So if you know what the rules are and you stick to the rules, passing the gauntlet is not nearly as hard as people think. It really isn't. It's just trade slow and steady. That's the most important piece of advice. Slow, steady, and pay attention to the rules. Right.
Because most of our audience, they are not traders, so maybe it's a little bit too advanced content. But I like what your explanation at the beginning, to help people understand what is trading, how your day look like, and what are the common mistakes people are making. Maybe just tell the audience, if people want to learn more about trading, where can they find you, where can they follow you, or if they want to learn more about you, where can they contact you?
Yeah. So, guys, you can find me over at Earn2Trade. That's where I will exist to help those of you that come there. Whether you're meeting me one-on-one, as a Cheyenne, it's where you'll find me. That's where you can schedule a meeting with me, and we can, discuss and analyze what's going on, and possibly, lead to some type of planning and how we can get you to where you want to go. Earn2Trade is spelled earn, the regular common spelling, EARN, and then it's the number 2. So that's the only thing that's worth, being aware of. Earn2Trade, common spelling for trade.com. You go there, that's just, there's a live chat button, and it's actually us. When you hit that button, it's not like some subcontracted chat agency that has no clue what you're talking about, or some AI. So if you message us through that, we'll actually get in touch with you. And I mean, hey, it's, who knows, maybe it's me, right? But other than that, though, that's where I'll be, in the space where I feel my maximum reward potential, because I get to trade with other people's money. I don't have the psychological pressure of trading with my own. I'm comfortable with it. And I also get the reward of knowing that I'm helping somebody progress farther on top of that. So for me, it's a win-win, and for anybody looking to trade, and once again, relieve that psychological monkey on your back of trading with someone else's money. I mean, it's a beautiful gift. It's a beautiful opportunity, and you'll be hard pressed to find any other, regulated sites out there doing what we do. Are there others out there claiming to do what we do? Yes, but as far as, regulation goes, good luck on that one.
Right. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you will find all the links in the description. And if you're watching this on Financial Imagineers Facebook or Twitter, you will naturally find all the informations that you can reach out to Chris, or you can reach out to Matt, or you can reach out to me, whatever content you are,
Don't be shy.
interests you. Yes.
Yeah. Matt needs some love too, guys. Come on now. Give Matt some love.
All right. If there's no more questions from the audience, even if you watch this replay, feel free to leave in the comments. I think we will be helping you to find the answers. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Appreciate you being our guest today, Chris. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. And then one last thing that I forgot to mention, guys, that's probably worth sharing for those of you that were interested. We do have a deal going on. It's like a 40% off deal. So it's actually for the Gauntlet Mini. So those of you that are interested, make sure to check it out while it's still around. That's the only thing I have to add. But other than that, guys, I'm a real person. If you want to, visit me, come on over to Earn2Trade. I look forward to seeing y'all.
All right.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Nice meeting you, Yassi and Matt. I will see you guys again, I'm sure.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, all.
Bye-bye.